Well, welcome everybody. Today's Wednesday, July 15th, and I like to start off with a quote as opposed to end with a quote. Um, and the quote today is nothing ventured, nothing gained. It's an old, probably overused quote, but it actually works in this particular environment because all of you did something. You all ventured. You all made a risk. You said, "Well, we've never seen anything like this digital card," but you took the risk to try it, and hopefully, every single one of you is gaining from it. That's really my goal. Is I don't want anybody to buy a card and not use it or not have the ability to gain business from it. That's really what it's all about for me. Um, yeah. So again, how this is going to go is I have a lot. I have a lot to talk about. But if you do have questions, we'll put them in the chat, and I'll take a breather every once in a while and start answering them. And hopefully, if we have, I'll try and leave some time at the end where we can do back and forth. And at some point, I'll call on some of you folks to see what you guys are doing with it. So let's just move on. So, as you know, many of you have different disciplines. There are insurance people out there. There are mortgage brokers. There's dog sitters. There's limo people. There's painters. All kinds of things. So what I say may not apply to every single one of your disciplines. So if there's something that you can towards the end, if you can say, well, this is how it applies to me, and this is what, and because of what I do, I get benefit from doing so and so with it. Again, not every answer fits all. In other words, is what I'm trying to get at here. And let's just remind each other, or I'm going to remind you about why you bought it and about all the different things that it will do for you. So it does make you memorable when and if and many of you have not gotten a chance to use it in a face-to-face environment yet. But that's really when you can see the reaction when you get people to text your card and show it to you in front of you. That's really when you get to see their reaction, and it's priceless. I know that Robin and Susan can attest to that. Um, it elevates your digital profile. It makes you look like you're on top of your A game. And when people see that, that's as a first impression, they assume that that's what you're doing for the rest of your business. It's always available. You never run out of your business cards because you always have it. It is so easy to remember in a stress state. I like to think of it. Well, I don't like to think of it, but it actually worked in a time when I rear-ended a poor girl from in it was at a, she worked at Kroger, and I was coming out of a networking event in Ackworth, and I rear-ended her in the street, and I was freaking out. I was just absolutely freaking out, but I knew that I had to get her car fixed, and I had to get my car fixed. So I texted collision to 21,000 to get Shelly Jackson's auto body shop, and I had her do the same thing. And on the digital card, there was a button to push that navigated right there. So we both got there easily, and then Shelly took care of us from there. But it's just if you have a discipline like that, like collision or like fire and water restoration, where you're not thinking, like if a pipe breaks in your house, you don't have time to go look for a card. So it's nice if you've got something like Rytech to 21,000 or something like that. And it's very easy to share. It's a very easy way for your clients and your prospects to get all your information, to get a great representation of you. As I mentioned, it makes the customer think that you're on top of your tech game. What I like about it is in a personal networking event where somebody distracts the person that you were talking to and brings them into it, basically steals them from the conversation. You can bring them right back into it by texting them back when you follow up with them, and it makes it so easy for others to refer you out. It couldn't be easier. Some features you might not be aware of that we do have. I don't like to talk about this a lot with new people because I don't want to overwhelm them with stuff. But for an extra $6 a month, you can get the back end analytics, and what that has on it is how many times the card has been accessed, what buttons did they push, you can get a summary of the access visits and the names of those who texted you. And it also does have audio and video. Many of you are sporting that on your digital cards, and recently we've gotten into video backgrounds, which is very, very cool. So the other thing I wanted you to everybody make sure that you know how to do is to text cards to 21,000. I'm so excited about creating this community of digital card owners. I really want you guys to work together. I want you guys to get to know each other and work together to promote each other, to work with each other. I know it's happening. I know it's happening a lot in the networking group that we're running. But it's just and every single person. When you text cards to 21,000, you get everybody's card, and I really there's not one person on there I wouldn't recommend. So you know that if you go there and if you're looking for a resource, whether it be around the Atlanta area or anywhere else in the country, you know you're going to find some really quality people, people who think outside the box, people who care about their business, and people are working hard to better themselves. So there's nothing, no better statement than that. And one thing you're gonna notice is, or one thing that I noticed that kind of I mean, I think I just added this slide today, but don't think of your digital card just like your business card, and don't use it that way. You should use it for what it is, and that's a lead generator. And what I mean by that is I see some people treat their digital card just as if it is just like, oh, it's my business card. So at the end, here it is, and you can have it, whatever. But you really want to put more emphasis on your digital card, because once you get it, once somebody texts your keyword and they see your digital card, that's when you've won. All of those things I mentioned about you becoming memorable, about you impressing them with your digital profile. That can't happen if they don't do it. So if you think of it as an afterthought, where at the end of the conversation, if it comes up, I'll have them text my card. No, that's really, you should be throughout the whole conversation. Your goal should be to get them to text your digital card. So I'm going to split it up between virtual networking and in-person networking as some things that I found that we can do. And I think after this, I'll check the chat and see what kind of questions we have, if any. Of course, we talk about this during our networking meetings, just to make sure that you rename yourself to, you can add your keyword text, whatever, to 21,000 at the end of your name, so that people can see it at all times. And obviously, I have the virtual background that also reinforces that, and and this is Mitch's virtual background. Which it's just really important to have that, so that people can access it at any time. People might be just bored with what the presentation guys, the speaker, is talking about, and might just be looking around and might want to just text law to 21,000 just to pass the time, and you never know what can happen after that. And don't forget, I was I don't know if Cindy's on today, but I was at a networking event this afternoon. One of our new uh, uh, people had her 10-minute presentation, and it wasn't until the very end, it was almost like an afterthought, where she said, "Oh, Gabe's here. I've got to make sure that I get out my keyword." Well, don't do it for me. You're not doing it for me. You're doing it for yourself. I mean, I would get that thing out there 2 or 3 times in a 10-minute presentation, because again, if you're not getting your keyword out there, if you're not getting it out there, you're not using it, and you're not promoting it, and you won't get benefit from it. The benefit that you get from it is when they use it, is when they text the keyword to get your digital card. And then they see it. They watch your video that's on there. they access the different they access the different buttons on there. They actually download your information to their phone. All of this stuff is not window dressing. It works, but you've got to remember to use this and to just change your mindset where every time you're in a networking event, use every opportunity to get your card out there. And here's another one that might be a little bit more difficult for some, and sometimes difficult for me as well. But I've been doing this a long time, and I've found that the more I can get my card to be, the more I can get people to text my card, the more value I get from it. Okay. So if I'm in a chat and as a matter of fact, I was in a Centricity, they don't even allow you to do this anymore. They call they call it spamming the chat box. But this is what you see in example one is what was fairly typical what people will put in the chat. And I'm seeing this, that even the digital card owners will put all this stuff and then they'll put their keyword at the end. So what do you think if I put example one or example two in the chat, what are the chances you think of them texting my keyword if one versus two? They're going to take the easy way. When in example one, you're basically handing them your business card, which, as you know, has very little effect. Um, Getting them to just be curious about your keyword and texting it to 21,000. Once you get them in, they are now in your they're now in your sales funnel, and they're not if you just uh, got them in on LinkedIn. Um, okay, so and that's something that in the beginning you might struggle with that because you want them to have your phone number, you want them to call you, but and maybe they're not going to want to text you, but if the ones that go through with texting you, those are the ones that are truly interested in what you do, and those are the warm leads, and that's really what you want to do. You want to filter out the people, the tire kickers, from the people who might be interested in what you're doing. um anyway, so let's see. um Okay, the other thing is, so how do you promote it? You got to get out to these networking groups. So you've got to join more groups. Happy Neighborhood Project. You may or may not be familiar with these, and if you're not, just Google them and you'll find them. Happy Neighborhood Project. One thing that they like to do is they're very proud of their records and how many that they're bringing to their network, which is great, except for the last time I was on there. One guy was on the phone the whole time. The other guy's moving around. I mean, they're really not, they don't, they just, they're going after numbers and not quality. But at the same time, if you weed through that, you can still get some decent connections throughout there. Authentic Networkers is a very good group. They have also, they're in the United States and Canada, and actually all over the world. They'll get anywhere over 100 people on their networking events. Virtual Networking for Professionals is Jennifer Gilman. I was just in her BNI group this morning up in New Jersey, and she does several events a week. You can, if you search Virtual Networking for Professionals on LinkedIn, you will find her. Centricity is another one. It's a paid group. That's where I actually started. Trustegrity is a local group here to Atlanta, but it started in Atlanta and it's having other groups around the country. It's more expensive to join that, and they're looking for certain types of people, but you can Google that. BCN is the business. I forget what the acronym is, but BCN is local also, and BNI, of course, and then there's other neighborhoods. If you have any other networking groups that you want to promote, just go ahead and write them in the chat so others can see it. And if you have a link, that would be even better. But again, the more you get out to networking groups, the more opportunities you're going to get to share your card, and the more business you're going to get from it. Okay, so, and also this is another big pet peeve of mine is when I in BNI, there's several people in my BNI group who have them, and they don't always mention their keyword in their 60 seconds. And I get it, because sometimes I even forget it myself. But if you say it, and there's a reason why it's better to say it every time, okay? And especially when you're in breakout sessions and networking. And that's because it's not only that you're trying to get people to text your keyword, but you are trying to also get them to remember your keyword and your number so that they can refer you out easily. That is another genuine source of business that the digital card will get for you. Okay. So, and this happens to me all the time. Um, it happened to me yesterday, um, where I just get random number. I don't know who's recommending me, but people are recommending me, and so and those once they recommend me, they have seen my card, and they know me much more than I know them. That's a warm lead, and I didn't do anything to generate that. One of my colleagues did, and they did that because they know that to text Gabe to 21,000 to get my information. So that's and if you're in your BNI group or whatever group it is, oh my friends, they've already done it before. They've already seen it. They're not going to text it again. That's not the point. There's always going to be visitors in your group, and you never want your colleagues to forget your keyword, because that might miss an opportunity for you to get referred, because they might not remember your last name, or the visitor might, well, I knew this person that did so and so, I forget her name, I don't have her number, so sorry, I can't help you. But if they remember your keyword, then that's a huge source of income. So I'm going to stop sharing for a second. Why is that? There we go. And where's my, here? I'm going to just check the chat. Where's the, okay. All right, let me go back. So you guys have been putting all this stuff in there. Okay, text. I'm trying to get through your stuff, all this stuff you put in there to get to the questions. I added my card to my name. It doesn't show. Not sure what that means. Text Walton cards.
Gabe, I'm talking about where we are here on Zoom.
Okay, so I see it. I see it.
Yeah,
I mean, it depends on how big your screen is at the time. So in other words, if you're a little tiny window on the right, you might not necessarily see it. But if people are looking at it in gallery view and in a much bigger screen, you can see it. Or if, especially in the breakout rooms, they're much more likely to see that.
Lorraine, what I did is I took out my last name so that it shortens it out.
Very good. That's another way to do that. Can we please get the name of the people on the text? And I think if you mean what what I think you're meaning, Eva, you're just right now you're getting the cell numbers. With the analytics package, you're able to collect the names as well. That's an additional $6 a month. And I'm gonna show you an example of that later. Okay, so. Okay. Oh, you're right. The MP group is biweekly. I forgot to mention that. I was actually on that today. That's another. It's Roderick's group. That's a good one. Okay. Let's see. Okay. If I can ask you guys, great groups in Canada for women. That's awesome. North. Oh yeah, Robin. He's got a shout out for Robin's North Paulding Networking.
Yeah, I put Gabe. I put in there that video social. It's also a networking group.
Okay.
And they do vlogs. And they do vlogs.
Lorraine is saying that she's not getting a text when somebody gets her card. You get an email, and if you're not getting that, then let me know. You should get an email with the numbers. I will follow up on that. I'll write a note to follow up on that. I'm sending it to your Lorraine M. Sanborn at Gmail. Is that what it is? Is that your email address?
no M, just Lorraine Sanborn, all one word, lowercase, at Gmail.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll check it.
Thank you.
But yeah, and if anybody's not getting the cell numbers after, when people text their information, please just let me know, and it's easy for me to fix that. Gmail. Okay. All right. All right. If you guys could from now on, not put your personal stuff in the chat, so that when I come back and go through it, I don't have to sift through all that stuff. That'd be great. Okay. So I'm going to go back to this one. Oh, I think I know what I did. Okay. Right. Okay. So now we're going to go to in-person networking. And many of you have not experienced this before, but the ones that you have, we're almost, we look back with quite fondness on the times that we could get out and do it. Wear your badge. This event that you're seeing these pictures from was the last event we did right before they shut down everything. And thank goodness we pulled it off. There was about 150 people in this room. In that room, this was a BNI event. And you see Susan here with her badge on, but it was very normal for the card owners to be walking around with their badges on, because it really does attract attention. It's a conversation starter, and it's another thing that, and what happened was, as we started getting more and more people, they would see each other with a badge on it on them, and they would gravitate towards each other, say, "Oh, how do you know, Gabe? How'd you get your card?" and all that. So that it would start that process off. So definitely wear your badge. There's Robin and Susan and Bob and myself at a different event. Not sure who that was. These guys are making T-shirts out of it. So Ronnie on the right is absolutely killing it with his science to 21,000. He posted a picture of him. He does stems. I keep saying stem cell. It's not stem cell, it's STEM. He teaches STEM to kids, and he does STEM workshops with kids and parents. And he has these little booklets or things that he sends out, and they're like these packages that have all this stuff in them. And he put a picture on Facebook where he had them stacked over top of his head, and in rows just down in his inside in his living room. He's just absolutely killing it.
Yeah, Gabe, that's a virtual STEM class. He sends them everything they need for the class, like the school does when you're in a virtual school, and then he teaches it online to the kids. So pretty impressive.
Right. So yeah, and he's since he got his card, he's been all in with it. As you said, he's got it on his T-shirt. He's got it and all his branding everywhere in his branding. He's got it. And of course, he obviously will never give out a paper card. My friend Bob Brooks actually had his card put right on his shirt, and he's a loan officer, and he wears that to his networking events. That's a little extreme, but hey, you know what? If it works, it works, and just we'll just, if it works, it works, right? So just anything. And again, there might be some ideas that you have. I even started thinking of doing these masks for the COVID with text Gabe to 21,000 on it. I don't think I'm going to do it, but it's just, just any way you can come up with of promoting your digital card's a good way of doing it. Now this is another thing that I would see in person. Okay. And so what people, when you're talking to somebody, when you're networking in person, a lot of times the end of the conversation will go something like that. Do you have a card? And it's the person may or may not even be interested in what you're talking about, but it's a polite way to end the conversation. Well, I oftentimes will see digital card owners say, "Oh yeah, sure. Let me pull it out and give it to you." Well, you've just lost the opportunity to get them your digital card. because why would you, if you've given them your card, why would they need your digital card? So I never bring them. I never bring them to events at all. I just say, do you have a card? I said, yeah, it's digital. Can you text Gabe to 21,000? And if they say, if they hesitate, I said, or let's do something fun. We can, scan my card with your camera. And if they really resist, I said, look, what's your cell number? I'll just text it to you. And they usually do that. And then I still get their cell number and they still get my digital card. But for the most part, I never have any problem. I don't get very much resistance when they do it because it's something different. And that's actually when you establish rapport with them in walking them through them texting your digital card. So you walk them through it where they text your keyword, they get it, you push the link, you get them to download your information right to their contacts. You make sure you do that right then and there. And so that way, and they're blown away. And guess what? When that happens, I've said it to people. I said, okay, how many people are in this room? And they'll say, I don't know, 100, 150. I said, how many of them these people are you going to remember? And they'll say, well, you're one. Of course. Yeah. And it sounds, I don't know, egotistical or whatever, conceited, but it's actually true. I mean, you get remembered because you do that, but you're not going to get remembered if you just give in and say, oh yeah, here's my business card.
Gabe, I want to share real quick. I was at a big event and showing off my card, and I got this guy giving me a bunch of pushback. Oh, you're just going to spam me. You want my phone number. You want my phone number. I said, well, yeah, imagine that. You're going to go to a networking meeting and you're going to network. I got a little facetious with him. But then by the time it was all over with, we had gotten into a discussion about my business. And he says, yeah, let me get your card. And I said, yeah, that's where you text Geek to 21,000. And he said, oh. I said, now, if you gave me your regular business card, I'd have your cell phone number anyway. Why is it going to make any difference if you text Geek to 21,000? And then he liked it so much, he said, well, where did you get that? And I turned around and I pointed at you across the room. And I said, you see that guy? Text Gabe to 21,000, you'll have his card. And I think you got a sale out of one of those. I did it a few times at an event. I think you actually looked up one of the guys.
Yes, I appreciate that. I remember you doing that quite frequently.
Hey, Gabe.
Yes.
It's Cindy. I was on the phone earlier, even though I had some computer problems. So sorry. And I'm dealing with those right now with Apple. But I didn't do it today on the presentation because I was so busy paying attention to, doing a presentation virtually. But I did on my networking group yesterday. Right. And 3 people used it because the text came over. Mm-hmm. And they were so impressed. They were like, where did you get it? Same thing that Robin was just saying. And that was one of the girls, I think her name was Marianne, the chiropractor.
Right.
That was definitely going to contact you. But yeah, I mean, it's really great when I emphasized it. It worked just like you said.
Right. And I don't mean to, I didn't mean to pick on you, but when I saw that today, it's just, you should have that planned in your presentation. Is that I'm going to say this at a certain point, or it should be one of your slides. So because and again, it's just a mindset. You're not used to doing that because you just got your card and you've never had a digital card like this before. But again, when I first got mine, this has evolved over time, and so I have a lot more experience with them, and I know it works and I know it doesn't, and so. That's why I'm doing this right now, as I'm trying to share all this so you guys can take the benefit from it. But as I said, if you get it out there in every opportunity, and especially when you're doing a presentation, especially when you're in a breakout room, you've got to get it out there. And guess what? There'll be breakout sessions where even when I do it, I say, well, text Gabe to 21,000. I expect everybody to go, oh, that's the greatest thing in the world. And then they talk to the insurance guys. They're not interested in me. Okay, that's fine. But guess what? The next breakout room, I'm going to get them. So it's but I wasn't picking on you, Cindy. I just wanted to when I saw that today, I said, well, that's another thing I got to talk about.
I didn't take any offense. It was good reminder. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. So and another way you can share it is send it to your existing clients. And what I mean by that is you can bookmark your digital card on your phone, and text it to them. You can send it to them in an email. You can just introduce, say, hey, you know, you send them an email and just say, look, I got this new thing. If you want to get all my information, you might want to text it, save my information in your phone, and just kind of reinforce. It's basically just reinforcing your brand. It's another excuse for you to touch, quote unquote, touch your clients, right? To get in front of them. So that's another thing that you can do. It was funny when I came up with this slide. I said, "Well, how many different ways can we share it?" Well, of course, you'd put it on your website, but I looked at my own website, and I could hardly find my keyword. I said, "Well, wait a minute, that's not good. If I'm not even doing it, I mean, I had it in little paragraphs, but I thought, why not? But why not lead with it? Like if you go to my website now, it's in the header of every page." And again, because you know, the more people you get to text your keyword, the more people you get in your sales funnel, and the more sales you're going to make. So as a result of that, I did. It's on my every single page of my website. Um, it's on all my social media profiles. This is my LinkedIn profile. Okay, so and it should be. I think Cindy, you had a marketing person working with you who kind of helped you do the same thing, right?
Yeah, I had her help me know where to put it on my LinkedIn, just to
Right,
make sure
right.
I had it in the right places.
Very good, very good. Your email signature, and again, this is another thing I put for the longest time. I had my phone number on there as well, but and this is where you have to resist. You have to go against your own thinking. You really want them. It's much. You'd much prefer them to text Gabe to 21,000 than you would to call you, because once they text Gabe to 21,000, they're going to have that impression of you, and so that's why I actually removed my phone number from my signature. Okay. Trade show banners. If once we get back to doing trade shows, it's just a no brainer. I have it both on my runner and on my banner. Sign writers. This is Jill Keogh, and you know you can, if you're a real estate agent, you can do that on your sign writers. You have any kind of storefront, you might be able to put a sign writer on your other signs, etc. Here's Bagel to 21,000. If you do just a bumper sticker, car magnet, truck wrap, any way to, and again, it's a lot easier to do it this way than to put a phone number, because for one, if you're driving down, if I'm driving down the street and I see another car with a phone number, I'm assuming that person's driving, so they're not going to pick up, so I'm not going to call them, and then I'm not going to remember the number anyway. But if I know that if I'm texting Bagel to 21,000, I know that's I'm probably going to get something back. So it's something that it's not invasive to them. So that way I'm much more likely to do it. And plus, even if I'm driving, I will remember text Bagel to 21,000 next time I hit a stop sign, right? Or a red light. So it's really recommended that you do that if you can. And there's Text Geek to 21,000. Robin just did a series of billboards around in Ackworth, and yeah, so you can. It's another way to do it. I did this in New Jersey. This was my advertising that I did on NJ.com, and so it's just another way to share it. Now, another thing that we do is in social media. People do different things. I've noticed they take pictures of their card and they do it, but they don't realize if you put the link to your digital
It's
card.
good. I'm just on hold with Apple because my computer is giving me it's working right now, but in case I might have to call you back if they come back on, but that's all.
Okay.
You want to mute everybody, Gabe?
Well, I don't know if she was talking to me or not. I couldn't.
Oh, it was a phone call with Apple.
I gotcha. No, hold on. I think that would do it. Anyway, yeah, so hold on. Where is this? Give me 1 second. There we go. Okay, so what you may not realize is if you go to your actual digital card and grab the URL, grab the link at the top, and put that in Facebook or put it in LinkedIn, the link will actually pull out a different image. And for Lorraine, this is her digital card, and this is what her digital card looks like when you share the URL on LinkedIn, and it looks the same on Facebook pretty much. So it's another way for you to share it. And so I just encourage you to try it, because every single one of your cards has been optimized for social media this way. There's absolutely a separate image that I have to create just for this purpose. Okay. And so yeah, I want to, and I don't think too many of you know that, because again, it's just, I don't want to overwhelm people, but it's a great, that's how I share a lot of your stuff quite frequently. And again, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and others, it's just continue to share it along the way. If you have a storefront, like Robin does, he's got a computer store, you can have a QR code where the people can put all they have to do is focus the camera on it, and that will generate the text. It doesn't go to the digital card, it generates the text for the person to actually get your card, so you still capture their cell phone information. So if you've got an office where, like a public office where people come to visit you, then definitely make a flyer. I can help you with it. Just ask me. And okay, so we're going to get into the bookmarking. This is how you bookmark the card on your phone. Excuse me, at least with this is with Chrome, using on an Android. But if you use that little button, the 3 buttons at the top, when you're at your digital card, when you have it on your phone, there's the ellipsis at the top. You click that, and all you have to do is hit share. And guess you can do. You can put it in email, Facebook, LinkedIn. You can do send it in a text. You can, there's all kinds of things. You can put it on Nextdoor. There's all kinds of things that you can do with it. So when you make sure that you bookmark it on your phone, I'm not going to get time to actually explain how to do that. If you need me to walk you through that, I can do that at another time on a one-to-one, whatever. Be happy to do that. But it's something that you should have your card bookmarked on your phone. What ways to share? What did I miss? Does anybody have any other ways that they're sharing it that they didn't hear about it?
I added it to the signature on my email.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm adding it to everything I do in LinkedIn that I send out, whether it's birthday or whatever it is. And tell me if this is okay. I'm doing text energy to 21,000 and then making a little note for my digital business card.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I'm getting Eva saying, "Where's the link for Facebook on my card?" It really doesn't. It doesn't really work that way. It's not the link for Facebook. I'm not sure what you're asking. Or if you're asking for the button for the Facebook. Eva, you and I need to talk anyway, so let's have a chat later. Talk about Kenneth asked, talk more about what recipient needs to do after receiving. Can you explain that, Kenneth?
You said something about they need to download it or save it to their contacts or something like that.
Right, there's a button, the button on the far right of your digital card has a way to download your information right to their contacts. I don't know. Well, and you haven't gotten your card yet, so you haven't seen it.
Oh, so that automatically downloads. So they don't have to do anything then.
Well, yeah, they kind of do. They have to save it, and unfortunately, with iPhone, it's a little bit more complicated with iPhone. With Android, it just comes up and just asks them to save it, and they save it. So it's with Android, it's easy. iPhone, I have to walk them through a little thing, and I think when you get your card and I send you that other page that explains a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about now, when you get that card in there, we'll walk them through how to do that on an iPhone.
Cool, thanks. That's it.
I've got an iPhone. It's really easy. All you do is just hit the download button, and it puts all your information. And
But yeah, but with the
and
iPhone and you hit the download button, you'll see it, but you still have to save it.
You have
And
to hit
there's a
save
button
at
on
the
the top
top.
right that you
yeah,
have to click.
well, yeah, it'll ask you, download it, and then it'll ask you to create a contact and then just hit save.
Right, exactly.
Hey, Gabe, real quick, another way that I use is I saved it on my computer as a link right on my desktop. And then when I'm chatting with somebody on Zoom or when I'm talking to somebody online or on Facebook, I can just drag it over and drop it. They open it in their browser on their computer screen and they have my business card, however tall their computer screen
Very
is.
cool.
So it's
Very
very
good.
simple and very easy to drop it right into a chat and it sends them the link. Really easy way to share.
Very good. Eve is asking me, when will I get my badge? I just did a run of them, and a bunch of you will have gotten them. Eva, you'll be in the next run. It should be within the next couple of weeks, I'm thinking. I kind of like to do them in bunches and then send them out to everybody. Let's see, what else am I missing here?
So Gabe, another place I put mine, I've done mine in several print ads that went out in magazines and different things, but I also a coffee mug at Rodney's. It's got my
There you go. That's awesome. Yeah, so I think another thing, and I would encourage you, this is a great opportunity for you guys to get to know each other, right? So if you in this group, if you see somebody who you think might be able to help you, just reach out. Hey, can we do a one-on-one? And it would be, you need to be doing one-on-ones with each other anyway, so that you guys can share, swap stories and how you're using it, et cetera, et cetera. So I highly recommend you do that. Let me get back to my presentation here because I'm starting to run out of time and I don't want to miss what I'm doing. Okay, so when you're asking, you ask for referrals, don't ask people to hand out your paper business card. Ask them to tell others to text your keyword. It's just, again, it is the most powerful way that you can do it, that you can get referred. Okay, so let's go through this is how I follow up. And again, I'm going to we might have to run over a little bit, but because this kind of stuff is important. So number one, when you get your the emails that have the cell phone numbers in them, what I do is I filter them to a particular folder. And again, if you don't know how to do that, I'd be happy to just reach out to me. I'll be happy to show you how to do this. But you filter them to a folder in your inbox so that they all go to the same place. So you're not trying to just keep ahead of them. What I do is I let them pile up for a day or two, and then when I have a bunch of them, then I spend some time at scheduling a response to every single one of them. And if you're not doing this, then you're really missing a lot of the value of the digital card. So what I do is there's two programs that I use, and they're on Android. One is called ClipStack, and one is called Do It Later. Now, there are counterparts to it, and basically on the iPhone, all you need is a clipboard app, something just to save something in the clipboard for you. That's all you need. And the Do It Later is something that will send a message later. So there are probably several different apps on both platforms that you can use. These are two of the ones that I happen to use. Okay. So the clipboard app. So what I have is I've got a standard canned response that I send out to everybody. Okay. When I've gotten their cell phone number. So and I've gone over this many times as to what works, what doesn't work. If you just say, hey, thanks for getting my card, let me know if you have any questions, you'll get zero. You'll get nothing. You'll get bupkis. It's really, you've got to give them an action item. So what I do is, hi, this is Gabe O'Neill. Thank you for accessing my digital business card. Would you be open to scheduling a Zoom call to discuss how our digital card can consistently generate business for you? And here's my calendar, and I give it right to them to make it easy for them to do that. Or if they don't want to, if for whatever reason they don't want to feel subservient to my calendar, we can work it out together. It doesn't really matter to me. but I found that this is what I'm going with now. This is very powerful. So I send this out from my personal phone to every single person. Okay. And so, and what I do is I put that into a send, what the send later app. And what that does is I create this message, right? And I paste it into the message board, and the free version allows you to put up to 3 phone numbers in at a time. So I can just broadcast to the 3, and I can schedule the time that I do it at. Because a lot of times I'll either get up early, or sometimes in the middle of the night, or if I'm not, or just I work early in the morning, but I'm not going to send out the text then. What I might do is schedule them for that day, and that way it just works perfect. So I can have them be sent out at whatever time I want. So that's really the beauty of the Send Later app. So you can put them all in. You're putting all the numbers in at the same time with the same message, and then you're scheduling those out to go throughout the day. I found that to be very powerful. So an example, this happened last night. I was in a networking meeting. This morning, I sent out a text from my phone to 2 people. I'd already corresponded to other 2 folks that I had dealt with who did text my keyword. So just 2 people that I met yesterday that texted my keyword. Today, 5 minutes later, I had a one-on-one already scheduled for tomorrow with one of them, and that's because I connected my Zoom to my calendar, and that was we went over that in the Zoom webinar that we did last time. So with all I did was send that out, and the result of that was I had a one-on-one scheduled for tomorrow. I mean, I don't know how much more powerful you can get. And that person is interested in a digital card. I may or may not sell them, but that is a very solid lead that's in my sales funnel right now, thanks to the follow-up routine. So when what you're seeing on the left is is from the like, analytics portion, where it's got the name and the number. Okay, this is when I queried this. Okay, show me the people who texted me within the last week or whatever, 7 days, and these are the names and numbers. And so right now I can copy and paste this information, put it into a spreadsheet, and run that, use it and run that into a CRM through CSV. So I can do that now, but in the future, we're going to be using things like Zapier to actually make it more automated to go right to your CRM. But that's something I don't like talking about some stuff that I'm going to do, but that's just something to give you a heads up on how things that we're thinking of doing. Yeah, so there's a few of you out there that are already in the affiliate program, and if you hadn't thought about it, it's a great way to make some additional money. Well, you're promoting your card anyway, so if you get people interested in it, why not make money off of it? We can talk about that as separately, but anyway, that's something that's available. Yeah, so the next networking event we have is this Friday at 11. So that gives me perfect. I'm going to stop sharing and see if I can go through the chat. Robin, okay. All right. Okay. So, yeah, I think that the chat's pretty much been dealt with. Let's just open it up to questions and comments and all that good kind of stuff.
I'll tell you, Gabe, I completely don't even order regular business cards anymore. And I would have to, except my employees have cards. So for instance, I have somebody sending out a mask from the local businesses, and they said, hey, give me 25 of your business cards, and I'll stuff one in this package with everybody else's. And I didn't have any, but I was able to give them some of the kids' cards. But I absolutely don't carry a card for I Love My Geek anymore. And everybody, I get about 75% are immediately like, oh, cool, let me try that. And they love it. I'll actually see them do it, and I'll show them how to save it to their phone, which obviously is what we want to get, is we want that there. But also about the 25% that hesitate, I see those texts come in 25 or 30 minutes later. They think about it later and they're like, oh, I really do need his information. What was that? And it's so easy to remember that they recall it and you get the text anyway. So
and
I'm sold.
and,
I'm completely 100% sold. I love it.
yeah, and that's the other thing is when you send out when I send out my responses, my follow-ups, sometimes I'll get that immediate response where he gets right on my calendar, and that's just to me so awesome. But when they don't, when they ignore me, I've had one do it like 3 weeks later. Said yes, let's set up something or something like that, and oh, okay, because I don't pester people. I'll only send them 1 or 2 texts, and if after that I don't bother them. Other people have different theories about that, but so any other questions?
Is our keyword case sensitive, or doesn't it matter?
No, doesn't matter.
Okay.
My other question for you is, do you ever follow up on the phone, or do you always follow up by text? And anybody else? How about others?
I always follow up by text, but I'll let everybody else talk to that.
100% by text.
Okay.
Say, Gabe, I got a question.
Yes.
You mentioned there's a URL for the card.
Yes.
Where do you find that? I'm not quite sure.
Well, once you text your keyword, and you get it, and you get your card on your phone, that's the URL. The URL is, it's a landing page. So you just copy the top in the address bar, right?
Okay, I need a 15-year-old at this point.
No, that's okay. But I also sent it to you in your welcome when I announced your card to you.
Okay,
the link
I'll
is
check
right
that.
there in that email.
And that link you can put in your Facebook and it'll populate the card, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks. That's all I needed.
What you're suggesting is to text yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I was
I
going to
would
say.
text Bliss to 21,000, and I would get my URL.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All you need to
Got
do
it.
is text your keyword to 21,000. You'll get a text to yourself with your name and the URL. All you
Okay.
have to do is just copy that URL.
Okay, thanks. Thanks you for
Got
that.
That was my
actually-
question too.
And actually, what that will do is you're going to get your There's something called Bitly, bit.ly, which is a URL shortener. And so for mine, I think it's bit.ly.o'neillg. When you text yourself, you'll get your smaller version of your URL, which is actually easier for you to remember and write down and give to people if you want to do it that way.
I got it. Thanks, guys.
Very
I've
good.
been using it both ways.
Very
I've
good.
been doing the text 21,000, but I've also sometimes I just put the link.
Okay. But
Yeah.
remember,
Good.
Lorraine, when the more you can get people to text it, that's when giving them the link is one thing. That's great, but you can't really follow up as easily with them. I mean, but if you get them to text it and you have that cell phone number, that is gold. It really, really is.
We have it on the back of all of our cars too. It's so simple and cheap to get a piece of vinyl cut that says text keyword to 21,000. Back window of people's cars, bumper stickers.
And you can you do that for these folks if they asked you to?
I actually can. I have a sign company, a graphics company as well. So certainly I could cut out a little white or black or whatever color you want, and I think like $10 or something plus shipping, and you can stick it on the back window of your car.
How can we get that from you, Robin?
Text
Text
Pete
Pete
to
to
21,000.
21,000.
And then you'll have my digital business card that you can click the button on the bottom right and save it to your phone and call me, text me, or find my website.